Good evening, good evening, good evening. I'm Pastor Evans from Morning Star Community Christian Center Church, and this is Life Study Evening. Every Thursday evening, we come to you live and in living color at 7 p.m. for another edition of our life study. And our life study is where we study some aspect of life from the perspective of the Bible, which is our foundation. That's our creed. That's our constitution. That's what we live by. That's what governs our life, the Bible. That's why we try to learn it. We try to learn it to live it. We don't try to learn it just to learn it. We try to learn it to live it. And we study how we live and how that is governed by the Bible. And as such, we look at various events and various things that we do to see how what we do aligns with the Bible. And if it does not, we make every effort to make that happen. And this evening is no different. We always begin with the passage of Scripture. And we ask you to put your finger in the first chapter of the book of Exodus. The first chapter of the book of Exodus. And we always remind ourselves of what it is that we do. And we recite these words, repeat them after me. This is God's holy word. Receive it, believe it, and achieve it. So in Exodus 1, verses 15 and 16, I summarize as it says, the king of Egypt, Pharaoh, he called the Hebrew midwives, one of whom was named Shiphrah, and the other was named Puah. And his instructions to them were, if the Hebrews had a baby boy, they were to kill it. If it was a baby girl, they were to let the daughter live. But the word says, but the midwives feared God, and they did not do what Pharaoh commanded. And of course, they were rewarded for that later on in their lives. Long time ago, there have always been those amongst us who have assumed the mantle of healthcare, who have assumed the mantle of caring for the sick amongst us. And today, after hundreds of years, after decades, after centuries, after millennia, that tradition continues at a more sophisticated level of care. And this evening we come together to celebrate what was many thousands of years ago midwives. Today we call them nurses. A highly sophisticated, highly educated, highly trained, highly sensitive group of professionals who are on the front line and at the cutting edge of the care that this society gives for people who are challenged from an illness or health perspective. Now, just before we get into that, let me say this. This, of course, is our third weekend, and everybody knows what we do on our third weekend. This is our food giveaway weekend. And we make the announcement again. Tomorrow morning, 9:30, 9:30, 9:30. That time is slightly different from the time that we have announced in the past. Tomorrow morning at 9:30. We especially need the help of you, brothers, to help us move the heavy boxes, move the heavy cans that will be on the trucks as we unload the trucks to prepare the food and the cans of food for the giveaway, which is to take place on Saturday. So we need your help tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m., 9:30 a.m. for the unloading of the trucks for our food pantry giveaway tomorrow morning, Friday at 9:30 a.m. And then on Saturday morning, we need your help with that is making the bags, putting the food bags together, preparing them for the distribution, which is going to take place beginning as of 9 o'clock. 8:30, we start the process of preparing the bags. And come 9 o'clock, we'll be distributing them. So please, we need your help. 8:30 Saturday morning, 9:30 tomorrow morning. 9:30 tomorrow morning, 8:30 Saturday morning. Thank you so much for your wonderful, magnificent Morning Star cooperation. We appreciate it. For we continue to serve approximately 400 families every third week. We distribute food sufficient to support some 400 families in our neighborhood and extended neighborhood. And we thank you for your effort in helping us in that regard. Men, we especially need your help in unloading the trucks and moving the heavy boxes and the heavy cans. Thank you so much again. And so here we are. On tonight's live study, we have an exciting one for the month of May is National Nurses Month. That's one of the things that gets celebrated this month, the profession of nursing. And we, of course, have one of our stellar nurses to help us celebrate the nurses and their profession this month. We have with us this evening our sister Brene Williams Joseph. She, in fact, is the co-chair of the Health and Wellness, the very famous and renowned and respected Health and Wellness Committee of the Morning Star Community Christian Center Church. She has done an absolutely fabulous job at that, and that role continues. And we're just so pleased to have her. Her expertise is stellar. Her demeanor and her manner are off the charts. She talks to you in a way that is healing. She's in the right profession at the right time, and is doing the right thing. We are so pleased to have with us as our special guest this evening, the co-chair of the Health and Wellness Committee of Morning Star Community Christian Center Church, Nurse Brene Williams Joseph. And we welcome her at this time. Welcome, Sister Brene.
Good evening, Pastor. Thank you for having me. Allow me to serve this evening, although it's never said on my part, but I do appreciate the challenge and you pulling me out of my shell. I like to be behind the scenes, but I appreciate the opportunity to serve.
Yeah, well, we certainly appreciate the service that you give and have given. Now, should you have any questions, you can begin to go to the chat room to line up. and we'll take as many as we can in the context of the time that we have. I know that you will be blessed. So stay tuned and pay attention, and let's all learn and grow together. So Sister Brene, why did you? Well, no. Before we do that, let's do this. Let's see if we can't name. Let's see if we can't name all of or as many of, if not all of the nurses that we can name in our congregation. Now, if we miss some, and you're listening and you're watching, and you know that we missed some, please call the name into the chat room, and we will stand corrected for sure. But we think we have most of them, if not all of them. So, since this is National Nurses Month, we're going to begin by reading a list of nurses, all of whom are part of the Morning Star Community Christian Center Church, and we are honoring all of them, and they are all represented here today by our Sister Brene. So, why don't we begin by your reading those names?
Those names, okay. We'll do. This is not in any particular order. So I have Gloria Gilmore, Sandra Hardy, Charlene Hatcher, Sophia DeSouza, Michelin Celestine, Linda Maru, Latoya Spears, Lolita Samuels, Jasmine Simpson. And if I have forgotten anyone, please do not don't charge it to my heart. Don't charge it to my brain, not my heart. Not my heart.
Okay. All right. If we had some pots and pans, we bang the pots and pans right now for all of them. Pots and pans time for all of them, for the work that they have done, especially during and throughout this pandemic. So, Sister Brene,
Yes.
Why nursing? Why did you go into nursing?
Okay, 2 reasons. The first reason I went into nursing was because my mom actually started school for nursing and had to change professions, but I always wanted to go into work in the healthcare field, whether it be MD or psychiatry. It was my mom who brought nursing to my attention, which I had never given thought. And that's what I decided. But also seeing the care that was given to my sister at 13, many know that I do have sickle cell disease. My sister as well. And at the age of 13, she did suffer a stroke. So just seeing the care that was provided to her during her time of hardship, just kind of made me want to stick with it throughout college. That was really my motivation.
Where did you go to school?
So I completed my undergraduate studies at Hampton University, the real HU.
Watch out now.
With a bachelor's of science in nursing in 2009. And then I did complete my postgraduate studies at New Jersey City University with a master's in health sciences with a specialization in community health nursing. That was in 2015. So that's where, yeah. And I do plan on returning. When that is, I'm not quite sure, but in the near future, I will be returning to school.
To do what?
I would love to go into school nursing. So instead of I could, just get a certification for school nursing, but because I already have a master's, it just makes sense to go all the way and get a master's degree. It's not much more credits that will be needed for the actual degree. So it makes sense.
So you want to move into nursing in the school arena?
Yes. Since my start in my career, it has been community nursing. I continue to work as a community nurse. I started as a community nurse in home care um, in 2010. I did work in a rehab on a spinal cord unit for some time, which was a nice challenge. But I continued to work in the community doing home care during that time as well. So, and as currently, I work as a clinical case manager for a managed care organization,
Hmm.
which is still in the community.
And do you specialize now in any particular
No,
scientific area or no?
I don't specialize in any particular area. No,
Okay, okay, okay.
I um I like to be able to move around. I don't like to just focus on one area. So I
Mhm.
like the freedom of moving around. And that's the beauty of nursing. Like there's so many opportunities. You don't have to be at the bedside. Um, a lot of people think nursing is just bedside nursing. I mean, it's just bedside, but it's a lot more than that. You know, we have pharmaceutical nurses who don't work at the bedside. We have rehab nurses, those are at the bedside, our case managers who work from home, and then just community nurses.
Hmm. Now, and so somebody who um, you mentioned a community nurse, somebody who works particularly or especially at the bedside.
Mhm.
And then was there a third area you just mentioned?
Um, well, I mentioned what I do now, which is case management,
Yeah,
which is
okay.
in the community.
Right. Okay. And so now you want to get out of all of that and get into school nursing.
Well, school nursing is not new to me. I worked in school nursing with the agency. So I've done school nursing since I started with home care because it's through the agency. So I've
Okay.
been doing school nursing for some time now. And I've grown to love it. And that is why I would like to, that would be like the end of my career. I would end my career out in school nursing.
Right. Right. I think Nurse Hatcher is a school nurse.
Yes, she I believe she retired, but yes, she is a school
Yeah.
nurse.
Okay. Good. Good. So now you over the course of time and training, you've had to spend a couple of minutes in school and in training, right? So
Yes.
what would you say to a youngster coming along who says, it's too much time in school. I don't have time for all of that. I just I want to get out of high school and get me a job, or get out of high school and get me some training that I can be done with in 6 months and be off to work. What do you say to somebody who says, I don't feel like spending all that time doing all that studying?
Honestly, I would say it's not a lot of time because it goes by so fast. It may not seem like as it does, like it may not seem like it when you're going through it. But when you come out on the other side, you see how fast that you started and now it's over. And then they always say about school nursing, I remember being in school nursing, they will always say, like our instructors, they will always say, you're gonna find you think this is hard, but you're gonna find yourself in school often, a lot. Because you're gonna finish one degree, then you're gonna go back, and you're gonna finish one degree, and then you're gonna go back, which I which seems to be true. Whether it's for, it could be just a certification. We're always trying to advance our skills, um, specialties, taking on different specialties. We have, nurse practitioners like Sister Lolita and Sister Lolita is actually a doctor now. but she is a doctor of NP, which is a nurse practitioner. And then we also have Sister Jasmine Simpson, who is a nurse practitioner as well. So schooling is ongoing with nursing.
Let me interject here that we're talking with, I should say, Nurse Brene Williams Joseph. She is the co-chair of the Health and Wellness Ministry at Morning Star Community Christian Center Church. She's a registered nurse with her master's degree, and she's going back to school to get, it sounds like 9 more degrees, but at least a couple more before it's all said and done. And if you have any questions or something you'd like for her to comment on, as this is National Nurses Month, go to the chat room, put your question there. We'll get to as many of them as we can. But line up in the chat room with your questions. Now is the time to do just that. And don't forget the announcement now. This is the 3rd weekend. This is our food giveaway weekend. So we're looking for you tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. to help us unload the food trucks. And then 8:30 a.m. on Saturday morning to help us put together the bags and begin the distribution. So now, have you, in your course of work, in your work, what is, if you just think about it for a second, what's the worst thing that's happened to you so far?
Oh, the worst thing that's happened to me?
Yeah, maybe the worst case, or the worst experience,
Let's see.
the worst sickness, the worst problem that you've had to face. Anything jump out at you? And if not, it's okay. If not, it's okay. But if so,
I mean, it was a little strange, but I think one of the craziest cases is when I was working in the rehab. I was rounding with the wound care nurse, and we were going to see a burn patient. And the reason for his burns, they were self-inflicted and they were intentional. And the reason he lit himself on fire was because him and his wife were going to get a divorce. I guess that was his way of threatening her to get her to stay with him. But I thought that was strange, and that was one of the probably the most craziest cases that I've seen in nursing. I mean, things happen. It's so, especially working in home care, you never know what you're going to walk into. Especially if you in home care, you have to be comfortable going into people's home. That's their environment. And you have to be comfortable with how they live. And there are some areas that you may go where that are not always the safest. So you just don't know what you're gonna see. Even like in my current job, I never know what I'm gonna walk into. When I go see a member. Like I went to see a member this week who was newly enrolled, who's bedbound, and her living area, her living space just wasn't. Will be a good candidate for the nursing facility, but the mention of that, it was just like, no way. But she doesn't have the help. But you can only do. She's in her right mind. She's able to make her own decisions. So you can only do what they allow you to do, especially when they are able to speak for themselves. So you just gotta be patient and oblige to what their wishes are.
Now that's interesting, because it seems to me, if I burn myself up, I'm not going to be around to be with her.
Right. That's what I was thinking. But yeah, I just couldn't, yeah, the wound care nurse that I rounded with, she told me exactly what happened from start to finish, how it happened and everything. The wife was washing dishes, um, at the sink, washing dishes. In most sinks, where you wash dishes, there's a window. He went in
Mhm.
front of the window, poured gasoline on himself, and then lit himself on fire. She's shocked. She runs outside with the hose, to hose him down. But yeah, that just doesn't make sense
Yeah.
to me.
You got me.
I'm like, like, was it, and I did feel, so I felt bad for him though, because he was, the amount of pain that he was in, but he caused the pain on himself.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I think heartache would have been less painful than that.
Yeah. Yeah. How about that?
um, yeah, so, but I mean, mental health is a good is real,
Yeah, it
and it's
is.
something that we need to talk more about, and address. So yeah.
Yeah. I will always, I will always remember. Well, let me just say, let me see if there are any questions first before I tell that story. Because
Okay.
there's some, let me bring Brother Kendrick. Brother Kendrick, I'm checking the chat room. Do we have any questions so far?
No questions so far, just a lot of happy National Nurses Month,
Thank you.
and a lot of appreciation to the nurses right now.
Okay.
But no questions, it's crystal clear.
Okay. Okay. All right. Um, I remember when I started, and remember now, if you have a question or a comment, please go to the chat room and put your question there, and we'll be happy to respond to it as best we can. When I started my internship year, right out of medical school, and then I went to do my internship year at Children's Hospital National Medical Center in Washington, D.C. I remember being as nervous as I could possibly be, and as scared as I could possibly be, thinking that now I'm no longer a student. You're always learning. You're always learning, and you're always picking up stuff. It's a continuous process, as you know.
Mhm.
But I'm no longer in school now. I got to make decisions, right? And now my decisions have consequences. Whereas in school, when you're studying, you're in medical school, you're in nursing school, you're in law school. You can, you feel safe in making mistakes because that's why you're there.
Right.
But when you get into that hospital, that July 1 on my first day of July 1, my first day of that internship residency, I was scared to death. I was scared to death. I was so scared that I was gonna make a wrong decision. And I'll never forget that an old I shouldn't say old, but I should say a seasoned nurse um, recognized that I was nervous and
Mhm.
scared because she had seen it before. She had seen interns and residents come and go,
Mhm.
and she recognized it. She said, don't worry about it. It's gonna be all right. I'll be here for you.
Right.
And I said, wow. And that just, whew, I felt like Martin Lawrence, who's, I just chilled. I just chilled right out. And sure enough, um, the way I would do it is like if I had a question about something, I wasn't sure about what, how much, how many milliliters to do this, how many milligrams to do, blah 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 blah. I would go to her and I would say this. I would say, in your experience, what have you done in the past in this kind of case? Trying to make it clear that I knew what to do. I just wanted to know what you did in your experience. And actually, I had no idea. I was so scared. But anyway, but she was awfully gracious and she was awfully helpful and she rescued me so many times, and as other nurses have done as
Mhm.
well. And I've just always been impressed with how nurses truly are frontline people, and they're there all frontline professionals, and they're there, all the time on a regular basis. And it is just they are just, from my perspective, a godsend.
Mhm. Nursing is what you will call other-centered.
There you go.
You have to
Hey,
be willing
Pastor,
to be of
Yes.
service to others.
we did get a couple questions that came in. Are you guys ready
Okay.
for those now?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, let's do that. All right, Sister Brene,
All right.
let's go ahead. Let's hear that.
First question is from Faith Kamara. What are some training you take to concentrate on your mental health? And what are some signs to look for?
Can you repeat that?
Sure.
Yeah,
So what are some training you take to concentrate on your mental health? And what are the signs to look for?
yeah. I think what's being asked is, what do you do,
Personally.
yeah, personally, to keep your mental health, stable and healthy, and also what are some signs that you would look for to show you that, what, I need to get some help, or I need to take a break, or what have you.
So always prayer that's key. Keeping keeping a village around you that supports you is always important, and just taking time for yourself. Sometimes you have to step away. My job is, like, currently what I do is I work remotely. So I work from home primarily, but I do go into the community to see my members. Um, it is ever changing. It can be very stressful. And when it becomes stressful, I feel the stress. I can feel the buildup in the shoulders, the headaches. And then you just have to learn to step away from it, take a deep breath. Mindfulness is always what's called mindful thinking, but that's an exercise that is always helpful as well. My job even holds some sessions with, especially during the pandemic, of in which we would have experts come to do yoga. Mind you, we're virtual, but to do yoga, mindful thinking. I've even did in the past, well, in 2020, I've even done virtual therapy, which it was just over the phone, not like via Zoom or anything, but over the phone, which was helpful. And the therapist that I was speaking with, we did a lot of mindfulness exercises. So I would just say, just knowing when to hone in on when that those stress levels start to rise. Sometimes you just have to turn the computer off. Even if it's during the workday, you may have to just step away and be like, I'm done for the day. It's hard because the work is always there. Since you're working from home, your work it is never done. It's because there's always something to do. But you just have to be able to turn it off. I've been able to do that a lot more lately than in the past, because I used to work when my husband was working in the prison. It would just be me home. This is before we had our little one. So I would, like, literally just stay on the computer working until he got home, which was not healthy. And he didn't get home because he worked the evening shift. So he wouldn't get home until about 11 o'clock. And that's when I would check out. But I haven't done that. And my daughter wouldn't allow me to do that anyway, even if I wanted to. Trying to work long hours now, sometimes it's not even possible with the little one anyway. So I don't have to worry about that too much.
Okay.
I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good answer. Hopefully it did. Brother Kendrick, you said there were a couple. Do we have another?
Yes, the second one was, I think she just answered it basically. They asked, do you consider your nervousness to be a good thing under the circumstances that you mentioned? And it's kind of like that mindfulness and stepping away, but you can speak to that though.
My nervousness?
Yes.
Oh, my nervousness. Well, I'm shy, so some of it stems from that. But someone just I'm in a part of a nursing sorority. And I have been challenged in many ways in that, being pulled to hold certain positions and participate on like not just a local, but regional level. And someone had said to me, your nerves are, let me get my thoughts together. The nervousness, when you're nervous, it's more of you in it. And when you get rid of your nerves, you're focusing more on helping other people. It's more what you're doing is for other people. When you're able to set your nerves aside from, I guess, yourself, like you don't allow your nerves to take over you. When you focus so much on your nerves that you're like constantly like, oh, I'm nervous, you're more focused on yourself instead of focused on others. So I think, I think that's helping me.
Excellent. Excellent. I like that. I got to remember that.
We did have a comment that said a good walk and some vitamin D is very good for you. So
yes, that is very true. I tell myself every day I need to go outside for 30 minutes and just walk. I don't do it, but it's something that I know I do need to do.
But you're going to work on changing that, right?
Yes, I'm going to work on changing it. The weather is nice, so.
Good. Power to the people. Power to the people. Excellent. Excellent. Do we have another question, Brother Kendrick?
as of right now, that's it. Nothing else has come through just yet.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll keep searching. We have a few more minutes. See, now watch. Now what? This is what normally happens, Sister Renee. When it's time to go,
that's when the questions come in.
That's when the questions will come. About 7 million questions will line up to can I get my question? Can I get my question? But anyway, that's just the way it happens. I'm still kind of stuck on the guy burning himself up to so that she won't leave him. I'm just trying to wrestle with the logic of that, but I'll put it aside. But I like that. I like that. The more you focus on yourself, the more you're challenged with that nervousness. And if you focus on the work and the help that you're providing for others, the less nervous you might be. I like that. I'm gonna write that down at the end of this program. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's worth something right there. That's worth something. So now how long have you been in the nursing field?
How long I've been in the nursing field? About 13 years.
Okay.
So I'm a little seasoned.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. No, you are. No doubt. I did hear you when you said you went to the original HU. And if this program had more time, I think I would challenge that.
I know you would.
But I'll give you that. It's a good HU. You know, there are a few HUs around the country, you know.
Yeah, but you know.
What?
What I was gonna say was, you know, how Hampton and Howard are the best, so we're top tier.
There you go. That other HU in Boston. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. So is it costly to get to be a nurse? Is it costly?
It can be, yes. Yeah, I would say it's costly. College is costly,
Mhm.
period.
Yeah.
I think, um, well, just if you're going to go into nursing, if that's something that you want to do, just, do your research, because there are some nursing programs where you actually have to apply to the nursing program. So you can be in school for, however many years and apply and not get into the nursing program. So I would say that's very important. Know where you are going, because you don't want to get to a school and they say, oh, you have to apply to the nursing program, and it may take you 1 or 2 years to get into the program. So that's money that's being spent. So I think that's very important. Also look into scholarships. There are plenty of scholarships. There are plenty of organizations giving scholarships out to nursing students. The money is out there. I wish that is something that I would have taken advantage of. Fortunately, my mom did most of the paying for me when I did go through school. Well, undergraduate, not graduate. Um, so I did not have much loans following graduation, and I was able to pay off my loans prior to finishing grad school, but I put myself through grad school. So do your research, I would definitely say, because it is costly. It could be costly.
Mm.
And if you're not focused, um, if you're not one that is disciplined, you want to be, enjoying. I know college is fun. It's fun. There's a lot going on in college. There's a lot that you want to be a part of. But if you're not focused on your studies and you're not prioritizing what's most important, you won't succeed. You do have to be focused. There would be a lot of I would say teary nights. But in the end, it's all worth it. It's definitely worth it.
Mm. And tell me this, have you ever felt insecure about finding a job as a nurse?
Now, no. When I first started, yes. When I first got started, I graduated in 2009. I didn't get my first job until 2010. I wouldn't say I really took a year off, but I did have a health scare right when I went to take my boards. And my mom did want me to she didn't want me to just jump into nursing. But that entire year I was looking for work. During that time, we were also in recession. So the hospitals were really just hiring internally or nurses with experience, because they did not want to pay to train nurses. So it was very difficult. I did have some regrets about returning to New Jersey following graduation, and thought that my opportunities would have been better if I had stayed in Virginia following graduation, especially seeing other nursing friends who remained in Virginia following graduation were able to quickly get a job just because the schooling is down there. You have experience at these facilities already, and you come in, you're competing with other nursing schools when you're coming from out of state, so that I would say that was my only regret, not staying in Virginia following graduation, just to get a job quickly. But there is a reason why God brought me home, because if I was in Virginia, I probably would not be here. So there's always a reason why things happen.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Had you, when you graduated, had you from nursing school, had you met Dolph Joseph?
I, yeah, I knew him. Yeah, that was from high school.
Oh, okay. So you did know him.
Yes, I did know him.
Okay. I just thought that might have been the reason that God brought you back here.
No.
Okay, all right. Other reasons. Got it. That's good. That's good. All right. This is the month of May is National Nurses Month. It's National Nurses Month, and we're talking with one of our premier nurses. She's the co-chair of the Health and Wellness Committee of Morning Star Community Christian Center Church, and we're so pleased to have her as our special guest this evening. And we're honoring our nurses. We're honoring our nurses, and she is representing all of them. Take a moment, Sister Brene, and let's read those names again of the nurses who are a part of Morning Star Community Christian Center Church. And again, these are the nurses that we're honoring today who are part of our family. And if we have missed, and if you are aware, you're listening and you're aware that we have missed someone, please call us and let us know that there's another name that should be on that list. All right. If you have not told us, of course, it's hard for us to be aware. So the list of nurses that we're honoring, Sister Brene.
Gloria Gilmore, Charlene Hatcher, Sandra Hardy, Sophia DeSouza, Michelin Celestin, Linda Maru, Latoya Spears, Lolita Samuel, Jasmine Simpson.
Pots and pans. That's what they originally did in New York, and when the pandemic first broke out, they would give pots and pans at 7:00. I think every evening they would bang on the pots and pans and thank all of the health professionals. Well, the pots and pans should still be banging, to tell you the truth. They should still be banging. All this political foolishness is nonsense to me. It has no place in the arena of healthcare.
Mhm.
Any word that you have about COVID-19? Anything new? Anything on the horizon?
There's a subvariant of the Omicron, has its own subvariant. The numbers are rising. I was just reading something today in New York. This is their third month where the hospitalizations have increased. New York is just a short way away from us. It's not far. So we just have to continue to take precaution, sanitize, wear your mask, social distance still, especially if you're in enclosed areas with people you are not familiar with. Keep yourself safe. My thing is, always keep your family in the forefront of your mind, especially if you have elderly parents, grandparents, that you visit often or like to enjoy being around, or small children who are not able to protect themselves. Always keep that in the forefront of, if this happens to me, then what would be the consequence of this, not passing it on to my family members? Or if I'm no longer here, who is going to take care of them?
Yeah. Good point.
Stay safe.
Yeah, good point. You're listening to Brene Williams Joseph. As I said, she's the co-chair of our Health and Wellness Committee at Morning Star Community Christian Center Church. She's our special guest this evening here as we celebrate National Nurses Month. She's one of our premier nurses that we have there at Morning Star, and they're all excellent. They're all excellent. And they continue to bless us with their tremendous knowledge. And we are just so grateful to have her and the rest of our health professionals who are part of the Morning Star family. Now, a reminder, tomorrow morning, 9:30, especially our men, brothers, we need as many of you as possible to help us unload the trucks, especially unloading the heavy boxes. We need your help tomorrow morning, 9:30, as this is the third weekend, and we prepare to give baskets and bags of food to help feed our community family there, and also our congregational family. Thank you so much for being with us tomorrow morning at 9:30 and Saturday morning at 8:30. We need your help as well to help finish preparing the bags and then for distribution of the bags. Thank you again for your wonderful Morning Star cooperation. So, Sister Brene, as usual, when you're having fun, time flies.
Right.
You know, and you know, and the time is like whoop, pew, pew. I mean, it's like what, 5 minutes to 8? It's like,
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, it feels like we've been talking for about 3 or 4 minutes, and it's already been just about an hour.
No, we're right.
You know, and that's a good thing. So let me give you a few moments for any closing comments that you wish to make about anything.
Any closing comments? Well, I would just like to continue to praise our nurses here at the congregation, and any of those guests who are watching who may be nurses. I praise you. I thank you for your service, and I encourage you to continue to push through. I know nursing is not always easy. It is always changing. We do, as nurses, we do not always get the respect that we deserve, the compensation that we deserve. We are overworked and underpaid. And what I would say is just continue to push through. There will be a breakthrough, and we will come out on top. I claim it. Nursing is changing, and I know there are some legislations currently on the table for nursing, as far as our nurse practitioners not having to work under, not needing a physician as their supervisor, but being able to work independently for themselves, which is great. In New Jersey, we just got what is the compact licensing, which is a big step for us. I feel like New Jersey was probably like amongst the last of the states who did not have compact nursing license. And just continue to stay safe. There was something that came out today. 1 in 4 nurses are assaulted in the workplace. So be safe, nurses. Safety is always important. If you don't feel safe, speak up. I know we don't always receive the support that we deserve, but speak up anyway. Continue to be an advocate for your patients as well as for yourself.
I know I said closing comment, but you said something that struck me. Did I hear you say 1 in 4 nurses in the workplace are assaulted?
Yes, it just came out today. 1 in 4 nurses is assaulted at work. Yes.
Did the article say by whom?
I believe well, I did not open it, but I'm looking at it right now. And it was something for it's for a workplace violence bill that is being presented for the senators of the state by the ANA. But I can bring those details to you.
Yeah, please. You know, I'd be interested in hearing you know, more about that. Wow. on top of taking care of people who are sick. Now they gotta watch their back at work.
Yeah. Versus it's the respect. Somehow politics have gotten into it, and the respect level has you know been at an all-time low.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh boy. Well, anyway, you heard it. You heard it. And listen, I believe we've been tremendously blessed by by Brene Williams Joseph, and we're so grateful to her for having graced us with her presence this evening. Tremendous blessing. She has a tremendous background, a tremendous story. She has given us some tremendous insight, some tremendous information. It's been tremendously inspiring, and we are just tremendously grateful. Sister Brene, thank you so very much.
Thank you for having me, Pastor.
Oh, listen, it was certainly our pleasure, and we look forward to. Is that another nurse?
You say hi.
Hi. How old is she now?
2.5 next month.
2.5, going on 19 and 20, right?
Right.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sister Renee. And thank you all so much for being with us on this evening. And thank you, nurses, for doing what I call God's work. We will continue to pray with you and pray for you. We appreciate you so very much. And remember the announcement, brothers and sisters, tomorrow morning, 9:30, Saturday morning, 8:30 at the church for our food distribution. Thank you. And then Sunday morning, 9:30, we have as our guest preacher, Pastor Barry Wise, Pastor Wise from Mount Moriah Baptist Church. You remember Pastor Green? Well, Pastor Wise is the one who took over from Pastor Green. Pastor Barry Wise, please come out tomorrow, Sunday morning, and share in the worship experience on this coming Sunday. Our guest, Pastor Barry Wise. And you don't want to miss him. He's a great man of God, a great preacher of God. And you will be glad that you participated and that you came out and that you shared. In the meantime, between here and there, we want you to be safe, be strong, be healthy. Continue to be vaccinated, continue to be boosted, and continue to be blessed. We'll see you Sunday morning.